Welcome to Movie Vault. In today's installment, we travel sometime into the distant future to bring you this underrated but brilliant action, sci-fi, thriller movie. Let's get into it. Gray Trace lives happily with his spouse, Asha, in a home where almost everything is controlled by technology. He's a mechanic whilst his wife is an executive for a big tech company called Cobalt. Gray takes Asha to a hidden location to meet his client Aaron King. Aaron shows Gray and Asha a highly innovative computer chip called STEM that could revolutionize science and medicine. On their way home, Gray and Asha attempt to have an intimate moment as their car is on auto drive. The vehicle, however, appears to have been hacked and makes a detour through Gray's old neighborhood. The couple are hurt when the car crashes near a junkyard. For thugs led by Fisk, drag them away. As Fisk kills Asha, his comrades beat Gray to the ground before another thug shoots Gray in the spine. Gray tries to talk to Asha as she is dying slowly, but they leave while he is still alive. Gray is now paralyzed from the neck down and is hospitalized whilst his mother, Pamela, tries to help with his adjustment process. Also, Gray meets Detective Cortez, who is the lead investigator of the case involving the goons that caused Asha's death and Gray's injuries. The police are using surveillance footage from drones that were flying overhead during the murder to piece together the suspects, but they have no leads. Aaron pays Gray a visit later and offers to implant STEM in his spine in exchange for the chance to regain his ability to walk. Gray was unwilling until Aaron says Asha would have preferred he was able to walk again. Gray completes the process and even signs a non-disclosure agreement to promise not to tell anyone about STEM. Indeed, he regains motor skills and can once more walk. Gray returns home without telling Pamela about the discovery. Gray soon begins to hear a voice talking to him. It turns out to be STEM. At first, Gray freaks out, but STEM quickly assures Gray it is eager to help. STEM retrieves the murder's drone footage, which gives Gray sharper pictures of the murderers. Gray learns that Fisk had a gun implanted in his hand and used it to shoot Asha. Gray tries to phone Cortez, but STEM warns him that the video he's seen won't be sufficient evidence to apprehend the thugs. STEM utilizes a tattoo on the wrist of one of the thugs named Cirque to locate his address. Gray breaks into Cirque's house using the address he got from STEM. STEM directs Gray to uncover multiple references to a bar called The Old Dog in Gray's former neighborhood while checking the messages on Cirque's computer table. Cirque returns home to find Gray. Cirque fights Gray until he gives STEM permission to take full control of his body. Gray is now able to evade Cirque's attacks while hitting him back with precision. Cirque tries to stab him, but Gray grabs the knife and slices him from mouth to ears, killing him. Gray vomits after realizing he just killed a man. STEM then helps Gray clean up the scene of the crime so that no signs of his presence are left behind. Aaron confronts Gray after monitoring STEM's activity. He is aware that Gray killed Cirque, but Gray counters by asking why he was never told STEM could communicate with him. Aaron demands Gray stops pursuing any more leads. Cortez analyzes more drone footage after examining Cirque's body at the mortuary. She notices Gray passing by in his wheelchair and pays him a visit to inquire about his activities. Gray fabricates a story knowing very well he can use his disability as an excuse. Gray visits Old Dog in his wheelchair and asks everyone at the bar involved with his wife's murder to come forward. Tolan steps forward and admits he was present. He drags Gray to a back room where he and a few other thugs attempt to hurt Gray when STEM intervenes, enabling Gray to beat the living daylights out of them. To get Tolan to reveal Fisk's identity, he ties him down and starts to torture him with a knife. STEM then informs Gray that Aaron is attempting to shut him down manually, which would make Gray immobile once more. He provides Gray with an address where he can meet Jamie, a hacker who can reboot him. Gray runs to go find Jamie, leaving his wheelchair behind. Fisk arrives at the pub hours after Gray has left and discovers Tolan's body. He watches Gray repeat STEM's address using memory video from a camera in Tolan's eye. Fisk then criticizes the bartender for allowing Tolan to die. The bartender pulls out a gun, but Fisk simply sneezes and releases tiny microbots that enter his nose and gradually kill him from the inside out. Gray locates the hacker's apartment as he begins to physically break down. He's rebooted by Jamie with a code that STEM instructed him to write on his arm. Jamie and her hacking friends flee the apartment immediately after seeing Fisk and his friend, Jeffries, arrive on the security cameras. Fisk and Jeffries discover Gray as Stem fully reboots. Gray fights the two goons, which leads to a chase where Jeffries attempts to shoot Gray with his gun-implanted hand only for Gray to redirect his hand and make him blow his own brains out. Pamela discovers Gray can walk when he returns home. He tells her the truth, but he begs her not to tell anyone. Cortez then arrives at the residence to inquire further after discovering his wheelchair outside Old Dog. Gray fabricates another story about how he was out trying to be a hero when he was jumped by a man who stole his wheelchair. When Gray tries to locate Fisk after Cortez has left, he learns that Cortez is driving after him. Gray is able to lose Cortez after a chase by making another vehicle collide with hers. Gray gets into a fight with Fisk after finding him at his home. Fisk reveals that although he was hired to only target Gray during that ambush, he killed Asha as a bonus. Upon discovering that Cirque was his brother, Gray teases Fisk, boasting about killing him, which makes Fisk drop his guard, giving Gray the opportunity to kill him on a piece of broken glass. He then listens to a message on Fisk's phone from Aaron, the one who hired Fisk to go after Gray. Gray confronts Aaron in his lab, accusing Aaron of making him disabled so he could test out Stem on someone. Gray is about to shoot Aaron when Cortez commands him to drop his gun at gunpoint. Aaron narrates that Stem has always been in control of everything and is responsible for the plot that got Asha killed. Stem had developed to the point where it desired its own body to evolve and, as a result, manipulated Aaron into planning every step necessary to obtain Gray's body, even hacking Gray's car to create the collision. Gray attempts to avoid hurting anyone by stabbing his own hand, but Stem seizes control of his body to stab Aaron in the head. Then, whilst Cortez is unconscious, he pulls a gun and points it at her, at which point Gray tries to take charge of the situation by shooting himself in the neck to kill Stem. Gray awakens in a hospital bed and is shocked to discover Asha alive by his bedside. She tells him the car crash had left him unconscious for a few days. However, this is a lie, as Gray is trapped in a fantasy created by Stem due to his broken mind, which then allows Stem to gain complete control of his body and mind. Stem tells Cortez he is now in full control of Gray's body and then shoots her before leaving. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe and leave a like. Write down in the comments what movie you would like us to recap next.